Well, all this week, we've been bringing you what we are calling reporters' personal impact stories.
We asked our reporters to revisit a story they covered this past year, one that really stuck with them long after the story aired. 69 News reporter Rose Itzcovitz is here to share her story. Rose?
Hi, Rob and Wendy. Well, I absolutely love getting to cover fun events that mean something to the community. So this one story I covered last July started out for me as one of those events, but as I learned more, it struck a chord deep within me. It was a story about adopting and fostering children. We covered an event called Tacos with a Side of Kindness on July 27th at Flavor Nation in Emmaus. What's not to love about tacos? Not to mention there were yard games, live music, and a dunk tank. I even got in and let some folks knock me down. The event was to raise money for the Kindness Project. It's there for any resources you can think of for foster families. It's 100% community funded, 100% free for foster families.
Everything they need, such as clothing, shoes, hygiene items, beds, car seats.
Adopting and fostering is something that's long been very important to me. Starting in 2008, I lived in Niger, West Africa for 2.5 years. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. There, I could really see just how many kids were without parents, in clear sight, out begging on the streets. People say there are plenty who need help right here in the U.S. That's true, but because over there it's so obvious, it really opened my eyes to the need. Since then, I've always said one day I would foster and adopt. Time passed, and my husband and I seemed to constantly have hectic and opposite schedules. I unexpectedly got pregnant. There was always some reason we couldn't. I met Janae Holtsafer at this July event. Like me, she had been looking into fostering.
My husband and I decided to become foster parents, and through that licensing process, we learned that there weren't many free resources to families outside of their daily stipend.
But unlike me, in the meantime, she was doing something for the cause.
We had our first foster placement in the middle of August of 2019, and she was an emergency placement, and we had nothing for her.
It was really important to us to kind of create something that gave them those resources for free immediately when the child was placed.
What really stuck with me that day is the need we have right here. I could always see it in Africa, but it's huge here too. Janae told me that day hundreds of kids are in foster care in Lehigh and surrounding counties alone. She called the need for foster families a crisis.
If there's not enough foster families, they end up having to stay at the government center with caseworkers sleeping there with them until we can find a place for them to go.
That's when I thought, maybe today I won't become a foster parent, but I can use my job to shine more of a light on this in the meantime. And we'll have more on what this project is up to in coming months. And now, since that day, the Kindness Project has expanded outside the Lehigh Valley. It now has a second store full of free resources in Monroe County. And Janae tells me this month they had double the new kids registered than this time last year. And you can find a link to get involved on our website. Rob and Wendy.